20 years feels like both forever and nothing at all. I adjust my name tag in the mirror of the hotel bathroom, smoothing down the simple black dress I spent too much money on. Morgan James stares back at me, and for a moment, I see the shy 17-year-old I used to be, hunched over lab equipment, dreaming bigger than my circumstances. The journey from that lab to this moment flashes through my mind, the devastating rejection from the scholarship committee, the crushing weight of student loans from community college and a state university, the 4 years of working night shifts at the hospital pharmacy while earning my chemistry degree. The lucky break when Professor Yamamoto noticed my work and recommended me for the graduate program. Meeting Dan in the university library at 2 a.m., both of us exhausted, him from his respiratory therapy training, me from teaching undergrads while finishing my thesis. The small wedding we could finally afford 5 years later. Our tiny apartment that slowly filled with journal publications bearing my name but never the breakthrough I once imagined. The Pacific Heights High 20-year reunion. I almost didn't come. You sure you want to do this? My husband Dan had asked last week, watching me obsess over the email from Dr. Crane. You've built a good life. Is reopening old wounds worth it? I didn't have a simple answer then. I'm still not sure I do now. The ballroom of the Westfield Hotel is decked out in our school colors, navy and silver, with blown-up yearbook photos projected on walls. I grab a glass of wine from a passing server and scan the room. Some faces I recognize immediately, others have changed beyond recognition. Funny how time works that way. I'm mentally calculating how long I need to stay when I see her. Heather Caldwell. Still stunning at 38, her blonde hair now in an elegant bob instead of the cheerleader ponytail, wearing something that probably costs more than my monthly mortgage payment. She's surrounded by a circle of admirers, laughing that same laugh that used to echo down hallways before some cutting remark landed. My phone buzzes with a text from Dr. Crane, in position. Presentation queued up. My former chemistry teacher, recently retired but still fighting for his students, had been the first domino to fall in what would become tonight's revelation. Morgan, there's something you should see, he'd said over coffee last month, sliding a folder across the table. I found these while cleaning out my files for retirement. Your original capstone project. And what was actually submitted. 2 decades of wondering why my project failed suddenly made perfect, horrible sense. After college, I'd landed a research position at a mid-sized pharmaceutical company, decent work that paid the bills but kept me far from the cutting-edge innovation I'd once dreamed of. I'd watched from the sidelines as Pure Botanical exploded onto the scene a dozen years ago, initially dismissing the strange familiarity of their products as coincidence. When Heather's face began appearing in business magazines, I'd turn the pages quickly, telling myself I'd moved past high school hurts. Meanwhile, Dan and I had built our life in Oakland, him at the community health clinic, me eventually moving into teaching chemistry at the state university. We bought a small house, started talking about adoption. I'd published research on enzyme catalysts that earned respect in academic circles but nothing that changed the world. I told myself I was content. And then Dr. Crane's email arrived, reopening the door to a path I never got to walk. A tap on the microphone pulls me back to the present. Principal Winters, still with the school, but now with completely gray hair, welcomes us all. And now, the moment we've been waiting for. Our keynote speaker tonight needs no introduction. The founder and CEO of Pure Botanical, recently valued at $300 million, Pacific Heights' own success story, Heather Caldwell. Applause erupts. I set down my barely touched wine and move closer to the stage, my heart hammering against my ribs. Heather takes the podium with practiced grace. Thank you all so much. What an honor to be here with all of you where it all began. Her smile is dazzling, her confidence absolute. They asked me to speak about my journey to success, so I want to take you back to that moment of inspiration. She launches into her origin story, the one I've read in Forbes and Entrepreneur, about how during senior year, she had a revelation about combining science and nature to create clean, effective skincare. I slipped my hand into my purse, feeling for the small remote Dr. Crane provided. 20 years of built-up anger, disappointment, and resolve crystallize into a single point of clarity as I press the button. The screen behind Heather splits into two images. On the left, pages from my original senior project, Botanical Enzyme Catalysts in Dermal Regeneration, a Business Approach. On the right, Pure Botanical's first product line and marketing materials. Identical formulations. Identical approach. Even the same tagline I'd spent weeks perfecting, Nature's Science, Your Beauty. Heather falters mid-sentence, turning to look at the screen. The color drains from her face so quickly it's almost comical. The room falls silent. I step forward, my voice steadier than I feel. For those wondering what you're looking at, that's my senior capstone project from our last year here. The project that mysteriously failed after I spent months perfecting it. Dr. Crane stands up from his table. I can confirm these are Morgan's original documents. I also discovered evidence that her submission was deliberately sabotaged. I walk toward the stage, each step purposeful. Heather didn't just steal my ideas. She actively sabotaged my work to ensure I couldn't succeed. I reach the podium and place a folder next to her trembling hands. This contains my original research with timestamps, the sabotaged versions, and patent applications showing how Pure Botanical is built entirely on formulations I developed at 17. The whispers start, growing louder. Heather's eyes, those same eyes that used to look through me like I was nothing, now dart around desperately, looking for escape. Morgan, this is ridiculous, she says, but her voice lacks conviction. You can't possibly prove. Actually, I can, I interrupt. My college roommate works at the patent office now. She helped me understand exactly how you took my work. And Dr. Crane found both versions of my project in the school archives. Someone in the back shouts, "Is this true, Heather?" For a moment, I see it, the calculation behind her eyes, weighing options, looking for a way out. It's the same look she had whenever she was cornered in high school, right before she'd find someone weaker to push down. But there's nowhere to push now. This is a misunderstanding, she finally says, voice regaining some strength. Perhaps there are some similarities, but... I press the remote again. New images appear, side-by-side comparisons of specific formulations, business projections, even sketches of packaging. The evidence is undeniable. You didn't just take my ideas, Heather. You stole my future. That project was my ticket out, a scholarship I needed because unlike you, I didn't have parents who could write checks for college. The room has become uncomfortably hot. Faces I haven't seen in 20 years stare at us, witnessing the unraveling of Heather Caldwell's carefully constructed narrative. She leans into the microphone, her voice ice. You know what, Morgan? Fine. Maybe I did use your work as a starting point. But I'm the one who turned it into something successful. I'm the one who took the risks, built the company, made it what it is. You would have wasted it. No apology. No remorse. Just like I expected. That may be true, I concede. But we'll never know, will we? Because you made that choice for me. The rest of the evening blurs. People approach me, former classmates expressing shock, classmates offering contact information for lawyers, old teachers shaking their heads in disappointment at Heather. Someone mentioned shareholder lawsuits. Another suggests criminal charges. By midnight, Heather has left, her perfect reunion ruined. Online, the hashtag pure plagiarism is trending as the story spreads through social media. My phone buzzes constantly with notifications, former classmates sharing the story, business reporters requesting comments, and legal experts weighing in on the potential ramifications. A quick search shows Pure Botanical stock has already dropped 15% in after-hours trading. Their carefully curated Instagram account is flooded with angry comments from customers feeling deceived. 3 major retailers have temporarily paused their partnership pending investigation. Heather's most recent investor, a beauty industry giant that had acquired a 30% stake just months ago, has released a tersely worded statement about taking these allegations very seriously. In 2 hours, Heather's empire has begun crumbling, and I didn't even have to lift a finger beyond revealing the truth. But tonight, in my hotel room, I sit on the edge of the bed and finally let myself cry, not from sadness or even relief, but from the sheer exhaustion of carrying this injustice for so long without even knowing its shape. My phone lights up with a text from Dan. How did it go? Are you okay? I stare at the words, trying to formulate an answer that makes sense. Do I feel better? In some ways, yes. The truth is out. People know what she did. Her perfect life will now carry an asterisk. But there's no apology. No real acknowledgement of the pain she caused. Just calculation and damage control. I text back, it's done. She's never going to be sorry for who she is. But I don't need her to be sorry anymore. And maybe that's the closest thing to closure I'm going to get, not an apology or justice, but the freedom from needing either. The power isn't in making her pay. It's in finally putting down the weight I've been carrying for 20 years. As I fall asleep, I realize I no longer see the shy 17-year-old when I look in the mirror. Instead, I see a woman who finally took back her story, even if she can't take back the years. Tomorrow will bring more consequences for Heather. Her investors will have emergency meetings. Securities lawyers will file class action lawsuits. The beauty blogs that once celebrated her as a self-made female entrepreneur will write scathing exposés. Pure Botanical's carefully constructed image as an authentic, ethical brand will dissolve like one of their bath bombs. According to one frantic text from a former classmate now in venture capital, Heather stands to lose at least $200 million in personal wealth if the company collapses. The empire built on my stolen formulations may not survive the week. But I find I care less about those consequences than I expected. What matters is that after 20 years of wondering what I did wrong, I finally know the truth. Dan texts again, I'm proud of you. No matter what happens next. He doesn't understand yet that nothing needs to happen next. I'm not planning to sue, though my former college roommate says I have a strong case. I won't be taking over Pure Botanical or demanding a settlement. Those paths would keep me tethered to Heather and what she stole. Instead, tomorrow I'll call the university about that research grant I've been hesitating to apply for, the one to develop affordable enzyme treatments for burn victims in developing countries. The project that's been sitting in my drafts folder for months while I doubted my abilities. The truth, however delayed, has set something free in me that I didn't even know was caged. Not just from Heather, but from the shadow of failure that never belonged to me in the first place. Please like and subscribe for more great revenge stories. How about you? Would you feel vindicated even if you never got an apology? Tell us your thoughts in the comments.